So it's the day after the launch of AMD 7900 XTX. I'm gonna go back to Micro Center and see if they still have anything in stock. I don't know if they have some left over. They had some XTs. They actually got a shipment late into the day. Let's see what happens.
If you guys like videos like this and GPUs, remember to subscribe, smash that like button, and help us reach 50,000 subscribers soon. So I went back into the Micro Center. Surprisingly, do you know what they did have a lot of that they got in stock? 4090s. That was certainly pretty surprising. So I am back day 2 at Micro Center to check out the AMD GPUs. Let's see if they sold out or if they still have some in stock. We're gonna go in, we're gonna take a look. As of yesterday, they still had them, so we're gonna see what happens today. Let's go in, day 2 of the AMD launch. Let's see if they have anything left over or anything new today.
Third model on it anywhere?
Yeah.
Except on like the side?
Yeah, like this is like the nicest box. It's like luggage or something.
Pretty much.
You could probably save money on, like, that's $100 right there. You know, if you're gonna travel or something. Here at Micro Center, they have a 7900 XTX limited edition. Look at that. Right at Micro Center. Look at that handle too. That's really cool. Carry it around. Look at this. It looks like a suitcase. I was really impressed by actually the case. You guys know I like build quality stuff, and this really kind of looks really cool. So they even had 4090s in stock today, believe it or not, the Asus ones. Stuff that a lot of people were buying, actually. I saw a lot of people walk out with 4090s, but here you go, special edition. This is not reference. It's the first one they got, actually. Very cool. 7900 XTX, PowerColor limited edition.
This is what I was able to actually find, a limited edition PowerColor 7900 XTX, and as you'll see, it's definitely pretty cool. So this is the PowerColor, the 7900 XTX special edition. I mean, look at this box. Isn't that the coolest thing you've ever seen? The handle's cool, but it looks like a piece of luggage or something. Comes out this way, and then you have a bunch of like accessories. You got like a little poster thing telling you about the actual GPU. You got a bunch of cool accessories, whatever this is. You get a little emblem here. Another one. Everything has its own little cutout. Then like GPU holders. What else? GPU holder thing. Another one here. You get your little booklet. Of course, then under you have the actual GPU. Then in here, more accessories. I think these are going to be like back plates or something like that. I'm going to have to open this up and see. Let's see the GPU. And here it is. I mean, yeah, it's definitely really big. I mean, it's about as big as like the 4090s, honestly. Very thick. And you see that 3 PCI 8 pins. So very thick GPU. If you've had a PowerColor before, similar build quality, I guess. It's just much bigger than like, you know, a 6900 XT would have been. So overall, pretty nice. I mean, it's $1,099, which is less than a 4080, so that's not too bad. In the box, you do get that custom back plate, and it looks like it's magnetic. See? And it goes right on there. And then you can sort of just peel it off. And you have a really cool looking GPU. But if you want something a little more traditional, you can just magnetically pop this off, and then very understated. If you want to have this cool look, you can have it. It is plastic though. Just keep that in mind. It's not exactly the highest end thing, but it's pretty cool. So here it is. This is a 7900 XTX. The MSRP on this guy is only $1,099, which is only $100 more than the reference model, but we're going to test it later on in different videos, and supposedly these are going to be having a lot more power than the reference model. You can also tell by here, the triple 8-pin power, it's going to be a lot more than the reference one, which if you guys saw, only has 2 8-pin. So these are going to be a little bit less limited, and this can really put a whooping on this guy. the RTX 4080. Now, ray tracing aside, in traditional rasterization, this seems to be on average faster, even at like 4K. It's not quite a 4090, of course, that's in its own class of GPU, but definitely gets pretty close and beats the 4080 in most titles. Now, this one does seem to be thicker than the 4080 Founders Edition, which is pretty funny. Even though the 4080 in my hand does feel a little bit heavier, probably comes down to this being much heavier built materials, and then this one being a little bit more plastic. I mentioned how I liked the build quality of the reference 7900 XT. This one does have a cool back plate that you can add to it in the back here, but it certainly isn't the same build quality as the reference models. It's the typical PowerColor that you're probably used to if you had a 6900 XT or something like that, but we're really after the performance here. For $1,099, this is definitely an impressive GPU, and specifically this one, you get a lot in the box. Nice little accessories that just make the buying experience for such a high-end product a little bit better. And of course, in most games, even 4K, you're going to get amazing performance, and I just hope your CPU is really newer, because to keep up with this guy, you're going to need something substantially fast, especially at 1440p. Not as much at 4K, but 1440p, you're going to bottleneck with like anything below a really, really new, very powerful CPU. So I was actually surprised that Micro Center got so many reference editions yesterday. These are the ones that are directly designed by AMD. This is what I mean when I say AIB, is this one here with like, a third-party cooler. Now, apparently this is the first AIB model that they got, this limited edition PowerColor one, and I think it's a really cool one. Of course, there are some more expensive ones than this. Like I saw an ASRock Aqua for like $1449. That one I saw on Newegg, but that one comes with a water block, so the price maybe is justified for some people, I guess, but the water block is definitely adding a good like $300 to that price, and that's typically the cost of water blocks now anyway. They used to be cheaper, like 150, 200 bucks, but they've certainly gone up in price a considerable amount, so that one's a special case. In terms of like pure, a fan air-cooled, 7900 XTXs, this is going to be probably, one of the best priced ones you're going to get. $1,099 is very fair. You will start to see ones that are like, as much as a 4080 most likely. We have to see how much the ones from Asus will be, and if there's going to be anything above this guy here, even though this is a limited edition. I know some are probably going to be well into the $1,100 range, maybe even close to $1,200, which puts you right in the camp of this guy, the RTX 4080. And I guess if you're just worried about like regular rasterization performance, maybe the 7900 XTX technically does beat it, but maybe for that price. But some people might rather get a 4080 because it's a better inclusive package, because you get more ray tracing performance. You're going to get better like 3D workloads if you want to use it for Blender or content creation, and some of the codecs are still better on Nvidia, and you do get probably better Nvidia drivers at this point. Even though AMD definitely has improved, Nvidia still is the leader. And for the same price, I mean, I don't know. If you tell me that this guy here, $1,099, beats this guy in almost everything but ray tracing, and this guy is $1,199, that's a tough one. If I'm a really big fan of either, that's obviously going to sway it. But let's say if you're completely neutral and you're playing like 1440p or even 4K and ray tracing is not that big of a deal for you, this might actually be the better deal, the AMD GPU. But at basically $100 more, you can get 4080, which is going to give you, ray tracing performance and pretty similar rasterization. So very, very, close comparison. Now, if you have to pay more than $1,199 for 4080, like $1,300 or $1,400, then it really sways heavily in the direction of this one, because for $1,099 for an AIB model, that's going to be hard to beat. Only the Founders Edition really gets close for me. But 4080, anything above the $1,200, sort of a base MSRP, I start to think that this is a much better deal, and most people, I think, would agree as well. I mean, today I was pretty surprised this was still in stock. This is usually a model that goes pretty quick, especially since it's the XTX and the limited edition. The reason for that is that they had a lot of 4090s. I saw so many people buying 4090s. I think since they've been so scarce, if somebody walks up thinking they want one of these and they see there were a lot of Asus 4090s, tough, and they see that 4090 there, they may just say, oh, that one's been impossible to find, and they may just go to that and forget about this one. So like I said, the 4090 is definitely a different tier GPU than this guy. Even though this is the fastest AMD GPU up to this point, the 4090 still is superior in every single way, no doubt about that. But you're also going to be paying more, about $500 more for this guy versus the base 4090. Not to mention the 4090s they had today were $1799. So you're talking about like an $800 difference, $700 difference basically between that and something like this. From the reference 800 and then from this like a $700 difference. That's substantial. Unless you need the ray tracing and some of the content creation stuff, this is actually all you need for gaming really. And it even does ray tracing at the level of a 3090 Ti. So overall, I'm going to test it before I come to a final conclusion, but I'm impressed for what you get for the price. Definitely can give Nvidia a run for its money. They're going to have to start lowering the prices on those 4080s. All right, guys, so remember to subscribe, smash that like button, and I'll see you guys on the next video.